Welcome back to the show. I am Nancy, and you can find me on Instagram under NancyDrew77.
And I'm Yvonne, and you can find me on Instagram under Owl Love You.
And we are the
Knitty
Knitty
Bitty
Bitty Sisters. Also on Instagram under Knitty Bitty Sisters if you would like to join us over there as well.
Yeah. On today's show, we're going to talk about sock knitting. Yahoo!
Woohoo!
My favorite thing to do is knit socks. My favorite way to knit socks is toe up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the Kitchener stitch at the end. I always have those little dog ears.
Right.
I know there's been tips shared and stuff about
on how to reduce that.
Yeah. Like especially after you bind off and you got that's the worst one. But they say just tug that tail in there and it does pretty much get rid of, the little ear that sticks out, but I prefer the toe up.
It makes it like for a much smoother toe look.
Yeah. Because I like the rounded toe too.
Yeah.
I like it. I like my toes to have a lot of room.
Not being like squished in from either side.
Right. Wedged in there. Or whatever. Yep.
All right. So to get started off with sock knitting today, do you have a finished object?
Yeah, I've got one finished object. Okay, so I have finished my Fresh Choice socks. These were part of a knit along that I'm doing. Throughout the year, there's two different sock knit alongs that I know of anyway. The Rainbow Chronicles knit along.
Yeah.
And each month they have a different color that you knit, and January's was pink, so I chose this yarn for that. But then there's also the Comforting Socks knit along, and they're doing whatever, it doesn't matter what color, doesn't matter what pattern, you just knit a pair of socks within that month. So
there you go.
Anyway, so I'm double dipping here, but yeah, I knit these Fresh Choice socks, and I cannot remember who they are by, the patterns by. But she has got an awesome heel on here. There is no heel flap, no picking up stitches. You're just knitting in the round until you get down to the little heel cup, I guess, that there's just a little bit of short rows, and then you are knitting in the round again. And so I love those. I will be using that heel probably a lot in the cuff down socks. These were cuff down.
So you had to do the Kitchener, huh?
I had to do the Kitchener, yeah. But it turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
I like them.
They're
pretty. I can't wait to get them on my feet.
Yes.
And do you have any socks that you're working on, Nancy?
I do. I'm working on test knit socks for Hooked in a Flash, the Ginkgo Harvest socks. I've made some progress since the last time I showed you.
Oh yeah, that's quite a bit of progress.
Yes. I'm happy with how they're coming along. The pattern really pops.
Mm-hmm.
It's very distinctive, and I just love them.
Yeah.
And with this pattern, to check for, or to start knitting for the heel, the pattern mentions to measure, like you would measure the foot from heel to toe, and then you take that measurement and then you knit up until 1 inch from the ankle bone, and then that's when you start on the heel. So I don't have, what is it, the sock ruler? I don't have one of those, so I've just been using a ruler and making it work to figure out how much more I can go. But just a few more rounds, and then I'm ready for the heel on that.
Awesome. Yeah. And I do have the sock ruler, and we did measure. We used both the ruler and the sock ruler, and it's got the different measurements on it.
I definitely need to get one of these.
But it is the same. So if you don't have one of these, a ruler is handy
dandy ruler.
Yeah.
Now the only difference that we noticed is with the ruler, the measurements don't start at the very tip, so
on that one,
I couldn't insert this into the sock. I had to keep it on the outside and measure the toe at the 0, where that goes down in it, right?
Right. Yeah. You stick it down in the sock, and then you can measure. And it's good to have the measurement too, because like if you're knitting some socks to be a gift and you want it to be a surprise, you just need to find out, what their sock or shoe size is. And there's like on Google, you can find like what the measurement is for that particular shoe size.
Okay.
And then, so you can knit up to, where you need to start the heel, and they're more than likely going to fit if you follow, the shoe size. If you're going to,
because
like
sometimes you want to knit some socks for a friend or family member, and I really don't want to go be like, hey, will you measure your foot for me?
Right, exactly.
Or can I come trace your foot out? They'll be like, oh, so you're giving me socks, right?
Yeah.
And you want it to be a surprise. So
exactly.
Hopefully you can, maybe if you don't know their shoe size, maybe you can like, oh, I like these shoes, their size, blah, blah, blah. Can you wear them? Kind of maybe hint around at getting their shoe size.
Right, yes. Or maybe ask family members that do know.
Yeah, that works too. All right. So that was...
I still love that yarn color.
Thank you.
It's like a yellowy, peachy...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, she didn't have a name for them, but they are tonal. It's not one solid, but
that's my favorite. If it's going to, be a solid color, I want it to be tonal.
Yeah. Keep a little bit of variation in there.
Right. Yeah.
And I've heard also that with this, especially with this pattern, if you're going to have a fancy pattern, you want a plain color, like not plain, but like low key. You wouldn't want to use a highly striped up yarn, a highly colored up yarn, because then the pattern would disappear in it.
Yeah, like the specklies or the variegated.
Right. So the pattern was fancy, so the yarn... I don't want to... Yeah.
It's not.
It's not
still
plain
pretty.
in a bad way.
Yeah.
But it is...
like a tonal.
Yeah.
Or solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more on the...
Yeah, you can really see the pattern pop.
Right.
Better with that.
All right. Do you have a whip that you'd like to talk about?
I do. I'm also working on a test knit. I finished... Let's see if I can... This is called the... I've got the pattern down here. Can't remember exactly. Sorry for the rustling of paper. It is the Thick Socks 3 Ways by Dana Ray Makes, and she is on Instagram, and I believe her patterns are on Ravelry. But anyway, I'm test knitting. I finished one, and she has released the pattern now. And I did the
That's so pretty.
stacked circles. And it is, they are fingering, I'm going to grab a sock blocker here. They are two fingering weights held together to make them the thick socks. And I've been wanting to have some thicker socks to wear around the house, because I've got some that are, there's that one.
Very nice.
And so I was like, I really want to knit some up. I don't think it would be hard to knit some thicker socks. And so when this test knit came up, I was like, yeah, now I'll have me some house socks that I can, and since there's 3 different patterns, then I'll have 3 different pairs of socks eventually. And I started on the second one yesterday, and I just have just a little baby cuff.
Oh,
Just a baby cuff. And the yarn I'm using is the Woollike.
mm-hmm.
And I know that it's not like your ideal type of yarn to use for socks, because I'm pretty sure it probably wears pretty quickly. But I thought with it being held double, that it will give that extra stability to the sock.
Right. And with them being house socks, you're not going to wear 'em inside shoes.
Right.
For that extra wear also.
Yeah.
They are nice.
Yes. And it's, oh, the yarn is so soft.
Yes. I love it.
But yeah.
And you said her pattern was released?
Yes. She released it a few days ago, I think.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can go get that pattern for yourself.
Right.
With some house socks.
Yeah, go run out and grab it. The pattern is pretty well written, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed knitting this one. It went really fast since it was, you know, thicker weight yarn.
Now, did the pattern call for the contrasting cuff and toe, or did you make that choice?
Yes, her pattern does have she actually has the toe, the heel, and the cuff, but in the pattern it says, you know, you can plug in your own heel or toe, whatever you want, and I plugged in the heel from the Fresh Choice. Well, I had started the heel because she's got the heel flap on there and picking up the stitches and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I did the heel flap, and I did it in the, like an oatmeal colored, I guess is what you would call that.
Yeah.
So I had started it, and I picked up the stitches, and I did a few rounds, but on one side is like all these glaring holes. And I was like, you know what? I want to be happy with the socks.
Yeah,
so I went ahead and I ripped it out, and I was like, well, I'm just going to plug this in and see how it works, and I'm much happier. No holes, and I know it's not the contrasting heel, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I've got the toe and the cuff
It still works.
there. Yeah, it still works. So if anybody has any tips on how to do the heel flap without getting the holes, I would love to hear about it.
Yes. Please comment below if you've got any of those tips to share.
Yes, that would be wonderful. But I think that's all I've got today.
All right. Did you want to talk about your needle storage?
Yeah. I know I see on Facebook, Instagram, a lot of knitters asking, how do you store all your needles? And I have, years ago, I started keeping my needles in a fish bait binder. I had seen a tip on that long time ago, and I was like, it was starting to get full, and I would have to really squish to zip it closed because it was a smaller one. And I'm like, you know what? And the plastic over time just was starting to tear and stuff. So I've been looking for some kind of needle, a big needle binder type thing where because I've got a lot of needles.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go back to what I know. So I went and found, this is a bigger fish bait binder. I got this at Academy, and it's got it's got little zipper things that you can keep, like if you do have what am I trying to think of, the interchangeable needles, you can keep the cords separate, the little things that go on the end, and they're not going to fall out. And then it has all these different plastic envelope things here that I just wrote on, you know, what size they are. I've got them split up to what size, and
very nice.
I mean, I've got
very organized.
Yes, I love having them all together. And then I was trying to figure out what to do about this fishy emblem on the front. I was like, I really want it to look like
yarny.
Yes,
yeah.
That it's knitting. So I'd asked Nancy, I said, because she has a Cricut and she does different things. So I was asking her, is there like some kind of sticker I can put on this? I knew an iron-on wouldn't work because this is nylon and I think it would melt with using the iron. But then when I was talking to her, it just popped. I was like, oh, what if I got some knitting patches and just glued them on? So I saw these at Hobby Lobby. There was a package of 4 of them.
Oh, good.
And I thought of just putting 1 on there.
Yeah.
But it still didn't cover
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll just glue all 4 of them on here. And I used epoxy glue. These suckers aren't coming off.
Yeah.
So
not anytime soon anyway.
No, not anytime soon. Hopefully it'll last the rest of my life, because that other one, it probably lasted at least 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. Before I said, okay, it's time for something different.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope that tip kind of helped somebody out there that needed to know what to do about their large stash of needles and get them organized.
Very good. And I know on your previous bait bag you had showed me, so I had already heard about it. But some people might not think, oh, let me go in the fishing department and see something for knitting. But it definitely works, and it's very versatile for what you've got in there.
Yeah. And I had started doing research about, okay, well, I can't find a big enough one for all my needles.
Yeah.
What else can I use? And there was this, I guess it's in the scrapbook section at Michael's, I think. There's a plastic bin that has other little plastic, they're
containers.
like a 4x6 that holds the pictures that people have used. But I wanted to keep my needles in their packaging, so that way I knew what size they were. I didn't, I wouldn't have to drag them out and try to use my, what is the little,
like the little gauge, needle gauge.
Yeah.
Card.
Right. Poke it in there. Okay. What size is this?
Yeah.
So I wanted to keep them in the packaging. So I knew that wasn't going to work for me.
Right.
As soon as I saw how small it was, I was like, oh man, because I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Because they used their little label maker, and they put the little sizes on there. I was like, oh, I want that. And I thought, and they've also got a rainbow one too that's got all the little boxes of rainbow colors. I was like, oh man, that'd be so cute.
Yeah.
But
didn't quite work.
It was too small.
Yeah.
For me anyway, because they were 4x6 and those were a little bit longer, I think maybe 7 or 8 inches, something like that. So
cool. And we will definitely link that below to, if you want to go look at it, you can find it.
Yeah. I think that's all I got today.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And if you have any other comments, please leave them below. Like this video and subscribe to our channel to get notification of our next video. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy knitting.
Hello, hello. Hi. No. It feels so fake when I do that. Hi. Hey, y'all.
Right.